You know what's wild? Most people spend their entire lives working with money, but they've never actually understood how it works. Not the textbook definition. I'm talking about the real system, the invisible architecture that decides whether you'll struggle or sleep peacefully at night. Here's the thing. Nobody explains it because the people who benefit most from you not knowing, they're the ones writing the rules. And in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how you've been playing a game without ever learning the actual rules. Let me ask you something. What is money? If you ask most people, they'll say it's a medium of exchange, a store of value. And sure, that's technically accurate. But it's like saying the ocean is water. It misses everything that matters. Here's what money really is. Money is trust, nothing more. It's a collective hallucination that billions of people participate in every single day. This piece of paper in your wallet, these digits in your bank account, they have no inherent value. Zero. The paper in a $100 bill costs about 17 cents to produce. The other $99.83 exist purely because we all agree it exists. Fiat currencies like the dollar aren't backed by gold. They haven't been since 1971. They're backed by one thing: confidence. Public belief. The moment that belief cracks, the money becomes what it physically is. Paper. Pixels. Nothing. And this has happened. In Zimbabwe in 2008, inflation hit 79 billion% in a single month. A $100 trillion bill couldn't buy bread. In Weimar Germany in 1923, people burned cash for heat because the paper was worth less than firewood. In Venezuela right now, the currency has lost over 99% of its value in the last decade. So, when you get your paycheck, you're not receiving wealth. You're receiving a promise, a claim on wealth that only works as long as everyone keeps believing in it. Centuries ago, a small group of people realized something powerful. If you could control the trust, you could control the money. And if you controlled the money, you controlled everything. So they built banking systems, financial institutions, layers of complexity designed to make money feel mystical, something ordinary people couldn't possibly understand. And it worked. Most people never question what money is. They just use it. And when they don't have enough, they blame themselves. That's not an accident. That's by design. So let me show you how the actual machine operates. When you deposit money in a bank, the bank doesn't just hold it for you, it lends it out. This is called fractional reserve banking. Banks are only required to keep a small fraction of your deposit in reserve. The rest goes out the door as loans. But here's the part that will genuinely break your brain. The bank doesn't just lend out your money, it creates new money by making loans, digitally, out of thin air. Every dollar in the financial system beyond physical cash is a debt that someone owes to a bank. Your salary, the money sitting in your account, a massive portion of it only exists because someone somewhere took out a loan and is paying interest on it right now. If they default, that money effectively vanishes from the system. And here's where it gets darker. The system needs debt to grow. It requires perpetual expansion. Why? Because every loan has interest attached to it. If a bank creates $1 million in loans at 5% interest, it puts $1 million into the economy. But it also creates a requirement for $1,050,000 to exist to pay it back. Where does that extra $50,000 come from? More loans, more debt, more money creation. It's a cycle that needs constant expansion just to stay alive. It's not a bug, it's a feature. The people who designed this understood something about human nature. Most people would rather feel rich living in debt than feel poor being free. So they engineered a culture where debt isn't just accepted, it's celebrated. And the numbers prove it. The average American household carries over $154,000 in debt. The U.S. national debt has surpassed $37 trillion. And most people walking around with that weight on their shoulders think it's their own fault. They think they're bad with money. They're not bad with money. They're playing a game where the rules were written by people who win when they lose. The first step to changing any game is finally learning how the rules actually work. Now you might be thinking, okay, the system runs on debt. But I could just opt out, right? I could choose not to participate. And technically, yes, you could. But the system has built-in psychological layers designed to make sure you never seriously try. First, there's the status layer. Money stopped being about survival a long time ago. Now, it's about signaling, showing the world that you've made it. And the system has made sure the way you signal success is through consumption. The house, the car, the phone that costs more than a month's rent. You weren't born wanting these things this badly. You were trained through advertising, through social media, through watching the people around you. And here's the genius part. The system lets you have these things before you can afford them. That's what debt is. It's time travel for consumption. You get to feel wealthy today and pay for it for the next 30 years. But here's what's terrifying. While you're paying, you can't take risks. You can't leave the job you hate. You can't start the business you dream about. You're not trapped in chains. You're trapped in comfort. And the people at the top of the system depend on that. Because people with debt are predictable. People with debt are controllable. So they build financial products designed to confuse you and extract maximum fees. Overdraft charges, sky-high interest rates hidden in fine print, credit card minimums specifically calculated to keep you paying interest for decades. It's not complicated by accident, it's complicated on purpose. Because when you don't understand the system and you fail within it, you blame yourself. And when you blame yourself, you don't get angry at the system. You get quiet, you work harder, you borrow more, exactly as designed. Now let me show you how the other half operates. The people who actually understand money, they don't use debt the way you use it. They use it as a tool. Here's the difference. When you borrow money, you borrow to consume. A car, a vacation, a new phone. Your debt goes up, but your assets don't change. When a wealthy person borrows money, they borrow to invest. A rental property, a business, stocks. Their debt goes up, but their assets go up faster. And here's the kicker. The interest they pay on investment debt is often tax deductible. So while you're paying interest with after-tax dollars, they're using a tax advantage to fund their wealth building. Same tool. But when you use it, it traps you. When they use it, it multiplies their wealth. This is where compound interest becomes the most powerful force in finance. Not on your debt. On their assets. $10,000 invested at 10% annually becomes over $450,000 after 40 years. But here's the catch. You need money to invest. And the system makes sure most people are too busy servicing their debts to ever get there. The wealthy start with generational capital. By 30, their assets are generating income. The average person doesn't start getting ahead until their 50s, right when they need to start thinking about retirement. The math was never designed to be in your favor. So here's what I need you to understand. Learning how the system works won't magically set you free from it. But it does something far more valuable. It lets you stop blaming yourself for being trapped inside it. And that changes everything. Because once you see the game for what it is, you can start choosing differently. Not perfectly, but differently. You can decide that you don't need to signal wealth you don't have. You can decide that you don't need to consume things you can't afford. You can't fully opt out of the system, but you can stop participating in it the way it was designed for you to participate. You probably won't become a billionaire, but you can build a life where money works for you instead of the other way around, where you control your time instead of renting it out to someone else, where your financial decisions come from understanding instead of confusion. And that isn't nothing. That's everything. Now you know how money really works. The question is, what are you going to do with that knowledge? That's entirely up to you. If you found this eye-opening, if something in this video clicked that hadn't clicked before, hit that subscribe button. We put out new videos every week pulling apart the invisible systems that shape your financial life. Share this with someone who needs to hear it, someone who's been blaming themselves for struggling inside a machine that was built to make them struggle. And drop a comment telling me what part hit you the hardest. The more you understand, the better your chances of actually winning this game. And the next video might be the one that shifts everything for you, so don't miss it. Thanks for watching. Just a reminder, I'm not a financial advisor. This video is for educational and informational purposes only.